The Cardinals have done it again. They win 1-0 behind a spectacular pitching performance from Miles Mikolas, the bat of Jordan Walker, and just some defensive magic late in the game. And we are here to talk with you about all of that as they win 1-0 over the Kansas City Royals. This is Cards Hub Postgame, sponsored by Hot Shots, home of St. Louis sports fans since 1990. Here on Sports Hub STL. All content brought to you by DraftKings. The crown is yours. Joe Roderick, Ethan Hannaford. And Ethan, a game that lasted, what'd they say? I think an hour and 49 minutes, something around there. My gosh, in such a short amount of time, we have a lot to get to. And the chat, I see you guys already popping off. We will get you guys involved as well. Ethan, I have so much to really say about this team because it's been a few days since I've done a post-game show now, but to watch games like that and to look back at the things we were complaining about a month ago, this is a team that has it figured out, and this is not a flash in the pan. I think we are past the whole flash in the pan, taking two games the way in the fashion they have the last two nights against the team, the quality of the Kansas City Royals. The Cardinals are they are a threat right now in the National League. I'm
just gonna slow clap, just an applause, because it is worthy of it right now. This club. This is the kind of game that the Cardinals don't win the last 2 years. This is the kind of game where either the bullpen lets it slip late, or it just wasn't enough offense, or you don't get anything near this type of Miles Mikolas. This is the game that the Cardinals have lost the last 2 years. And there's so many different areas that you could point out that have improved, that have adjusted. And even not even entirely from 2024. I mean, earlier in this year, like 2 weeks ago. I mean, that it just goes to show you. And I said it with Stefan this morning on Cards Hub 365. Go and check that out on the YouTube page. This is a team that is actively maturing very quickly, and it is showing in the way that they are playing the game. The Cardinals have the best defense in baseball. And it showed tonight. They needed every single ounce of the pitching and the defense tonight to come away with a win. But they've shown that they can win in different ways, and that is proving to be rewarding. That they don't have to rely on solely the power. They don't have to rely solely on strong pitching. It's not just on excellent defense. The Cardinals are finding different ways to win. And this is a win tonight that we haven't seen the Cardinals have to do very much. But boy, is it refreshing seeing that they have the ability to win games tonight like they did, which I love, by the way. I love pitchers' duels. I love gems. And Miles Mikolas was excellent. The defense backed up Kyle Leahy in the 8th inning. Goosebumps, absolute goosebumps in the 8th inning watching the defense get us out of that jam. And I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about that because I have a comp that I want to make, a play it reminded me of that eventually I want to bring up. But what a game. And the fans are in. The fans are feeling it right now, Joe. And it's fun having good baseball back in St. Louis.
12 of 13 right now. I know I haven't seen if the Minnesota Twins, what they did yet today. I know the Twins were on a 12-game winning streak. So you got to put them, and right now Minnesota's up 6-0. So they're about to win their 13th straight game. Cardinals and Twins, the two hottest teams in all of baseball right now. And this is a fun team to watch. And you think back to some of the things that we talked about in spring training and when this team was kind of put together, and some people possibly in this, in this show right now, hosting it, living on the Illinois side, that could go on DraftKings and bet on how many total wins the team would have, might have put in some money on them being an 87+ win team before the season started. And I was able to talk, or that person might have been able to talk themselves into kind of looking at what needed to go right. And so much of it was this runway. And I brought it up with Ryan Fagan the other day that even Jordan Walker right up there. I mean, Jordan Walker, he got the lone home run in the game. He got the lone run in the game. This was Jordan Walker's win on the offensive side of things. But all of this pressure, all of this talk of it's Jordan Walker and it's Nolan Gorman. It's Jordan Walker, Nolan Gorman. It's their runway. And we're completely forgetting about the fact that you have, like you said, the guys up the middle and Victor Scott II and Mason Wynn, along with Ivan Herrera, which I don't know if you saw the stat on TV tonight. They said since last year, the last 300 at-bats or plate appearances has the third highest average in baseball behind two guys named Aaron Judge and Bobby Witt Jr., who finished 1-2 in the AL MVP voting last year. You look at those three guys that are all under the age of 24, it's their runway. Maybe we're focusing on the wrong guys for the runway and putting all this pressure on, we need to see this out of Gorman. We need to see this out of Walker. You have your young stars that are right there in the middle of the lineup. And now when you add that in to guys like Wilson Contreras, who have just completely, taken and run with the opportunity to play a brand new position and get in the lineup every day. And to see that emotion multiple times this year now out of Nolan Arenado, man, I love that. I love that. I mean, that's you remember opening day. I mean, you were there opening day when he hit that home run opening day and is just in the dugout screaming about it at that moment. I mean, that's Nolan Arenado. That's the leader, Nolan Arenado, that this team needed to have. You needed that veteran presence of having that leader there, and that's Wilson Contreras and that's Nolan Arenado, who are going to bring that and have been bringing that this year. And that's something this team has missed the last couple of years without Yadi. And it seems now like they have it. They have these, they have these guys with the emotion. They're playing it. This is the team right now that you said figured it out and they know how to win.
Yeah, I mean, you said it right. There's so many different reasons as to why there is reason to have energy behind this team and excitement behind this team. And I tell you what, just as amazing as that play was in the 8th inning where Brendan Donovan makes one hell of a pick and they end up turning the double play. Got me just as excited was seeing the energy and the leadership from Nolan Arenado. The yelling, right? I mean, clearly was fired up, but then also pointing guys out on the diamond, giving them credits for the play that they made. There's been, I think at times, criticism for Nolan Arenado for not necessarily being the leader type. And I can tell you right now, in a clubhouse where it is majority young guys, they look up to and they respect Nolan Arenado. But I think that he is also giving them the space in that clubhouse that they deserve, right? That is creating some of that young energy. And I think that it is rubbed off on him. And I think he's in on it right now. So it's amazing to see him playing with the energy that we haven't seen from him in the last couple of years. And I think that you can give a lot of that credit because of the guys that he is surrounded by as well. So it goes both ways in that sense of now it feels like you got your leader back, your clubhouse leader in there, and Nolan Arenado. And plays like that, where he is able to, give credit and show his passion and show his emotion like the Nolan Arenado of old, I think is huge for this team. That play, Joe, reminded me so much of the crazy double play that the Cardinals turned at Wrigley Field a couple of years ago.
The phone number double play.
Yes. Now, obviously, that one was way longer, way more complex. But you talk about needing a big play in a situation where you're starting to, like no one out, run, like tough situation, multiple guys on. Are you going to be able to get out of it? And during a hot stretch too. I don't know if I think the Cardinals were still in the middle of their winning streak in 21 when that happened. For the Cardinals to be able to get out of that with the excellent defense reminded me so much of they found a way to get through and win a ball game. It doesn't have to be the best performance. It doesn't have to be the prettiest of wins, but they found a way to win a ball game. And that's what this team is showing me right now. A lot of them have been pretty. A lot of them have been real nice. I think the run differential on the road is plus 32, which is ridiculous, right? But tonight was a game that it wasn't the prettiest of showings from the offense, right? But they found a way to win. And that play, those couple of plays that we saw there in the 8th inning, perfectly encapsulated that.
Yeah, and those are, and also too, I will also, these are things where you have to get lucky, and they got very, very lucky in that 8th inning because the Royals were threatening, and by no means, I mean, that's not you pitched your way out of it, you struck out some big guys, you got a pop up. They hit the ball hard at Brendan Donovan, and that was a play where but I will say this though. I don't know how much Rockies or White Sox highlights you've just kind of happened upon this year, but those are plays right there where they would somehow throw that ball in left field. and guys would just be running around the bases where that is something that, we speak of we speak highly of the defense that the Cardinals are always emphasizing all the way back into spring training and, every day out at the field beforehand. And you look at some of the instructors they have and the assistant coaches they have and what their specialty is. That is a situation where you get, you have players up the middle who know exactly what to do in that moment. And you have Brendan Donovan, Gold Glove winner. You have Nolan Arenado, multi-time Gold Glove winner, Mason Wynn, eventual Gold Glove winner, to be able to do that with their intelligence. And you find your way out of a jam like that in the way that they did, because they know where to be, when to be there, and thinking in the moment of what could happen and what could be next.
Yeah, I mean, the defensive IQ is clearly there up the middle. And you have to have a strong core up the middle defensively in order for things to go well for you. And the Cardinals have set themselves up for success with Donovan at second, Wynn at short, Pages, the main guy behind the plate right now, and Victor Scott in center. That play that Victor Scott made earlier in the ball game, robbing Vinny Pasquantino of extra bases, was extremely impressive. But it's a play that we're seeing very often from him right now. We saw some emotion from him after it as well. He held that pose for a while. I thought he was hurt. He was holding that pose so long. I thought there was something wrong with him. He tends to play pretty composed and doesn't show a crazy amount of emotion. So I thought that was pretty fun seeing that from him too. He covered 94 feet on that play. I think he was running about 25 feet per second. And you could tell, I think he was feeling for the wall at one point too, trying to figure out where exactly he was. So an extremely difficult baseball to track down. Very impressive play from Victor Scott. And I tweeted it earlier. I said he's already earned, I think, the respect in the sense that, he is one of the best defensive center fielders in baseball. But I don't think it's going to be very long before he has earned that title. I mean, you look at the other guy in the Central playing center field, and Pete Crow Armstrong, that I know a lot of Cardinal fans aren't a fan of. Very similar styles and a lot, built around speed, very good defense. It's going to be fun to watch those two be in center field and be rivals for a long time, because I think they will be very entertaining for years to come. But Victor Scott, very much so, showing why he deserves to be in the conversation for best defensive center fielders in Major League Baseball.
It's a Saturday night. Cardinals have won 1-0 over the Royals. Jump on into the YouTube chat and let us know your thoughts, and just talk amongst yourselves as well. While you're in there, we'll start throwing a few of them up on the screen. This is Cards Hub Postgame, brought to you by our friends over at Hot Shots. And they invite you to come out to their St. Charles location Sunday, June 1st, to celebrate their 35th anniversary. The fun starts at noon with a parking lot party featuring the Budweiser Clydesdales. Prizes will be given away all day long. Dart tournament at noon, a bags tournament at 2, and a chance to win Hot Shots tacos for a year. Congratulations to Hot Shots on 35 years. Hot Shots, St. Louis's home for all the games, all the time, since 1990. Find yours at hotshotsnet.com. Joe Roderick, Ethan Hannaford with you. We've talked a lot about, we've kind of been all over the place here in the first 15 minutes or so of the show. And in a 1-0 game, there definitely is a lot to talk about. And hell, I mean, if Rockio can go 60 minutes on a City post-game show that ends 1-0, why can't we go 60 minutes on a Cardinal post-game? that ends the same. Miles Mikolas just again continues to be impressive game in and game out. You look at the actual numbers on him, and it is it's 3-2 record with a 3.77 ERA. There's nothing about that you look at that and you go, wow, that's my guy. Can't wait to see him pitch again. He's somehow, I mean, you know, to steal a nickname from the movie Talladega Nights, I mean, Miles Mikolas is kind of becoming the magic man out there on the mound, because you watch him out there and you watch him pitch, same mustache too as John C. Reilly, but you watch him out there pitching and nothing's overpowering. Nothing. He doesn't have any kind of new pitches in his repertoire that he's throwing out there. He's going out there and he's getting the job done, and he's getting you through 5, 6, 7 innings now in these outings. And the Cardinals are also being so smart with him when you look at some of the approach that they go with, because Miles Mikolas's numbers the third time through the order are not great. And you look at some of the times that they've pulled him here recently: 6 innings, 5 1/3, 5 1/3, 6, the 4 2/3, the game against the Mets. They're getting him out of there before he has a chance to get exposed. And you can do that when you have this bullpen now that you have a lot of confidence in.
Yeah, I mean, and credit Ollie Marmol for his management of the bullpen and knowing when it is the right time to take the ball from Miles Mikolas, from his starting pitchers. But I mean, what Miles Mikolas has done in 2025 is it reminds me in a way of what Adam Wainwright was able to do when it felt like his career was over, and then all of a sudden he found the final little bit in the gas tank. And that's kind of what it feels like Miles Mikolas is doing early in 2025 right now. I know the ERA is 3.77 in total right now, but if you take away that one ugly start in Boston, and it was ugly, it was like 2 2/3, I think, 8 earned runs, the ERA is 2.32. And yes, those starts count just as much as any other, but it goes to show that it's been a consistent 3.77, right? It hasn't, in large part, it hasn't been this where he's allowing 4 runs a night, 5 runs a night. No, you look through the game by game log. This is his 3rd shutout where he's thrown at least 5 innings this year. He only did that twice in 2024. He has, and then he has an outing where he allowed 1 earned run. Let's see, 1, 2, 3 outings where he allowed 2 earned runs. I mean, the large majority of Miles Mikolas' starts have been two earned runs or less. And, I know he made some adjustments. The 2-strike pitching was atrocious in 2024. He's made some adjustments as to how he is locating against guys with 2 strikes specifically. The walk rate, we know that's been by far the best area of his game the last couple of seasons, being in, the 96th, 98th percentile. It's not nearly as strong this year, but as a result, it's not as predictable of a product coming from Miles Mikolas, and he's keeping guys off balance as a result in all counts. And that is a huge plus for a guy that to be able to adjust and recognize what the big issue was in 2023 and 2024 and make corrections and be better as a result. What were the expectations for Miles Mikolas going into 2025? I would say probably over 50% of the fan base wanted him not off the team. And I understand, it's a hefty contract for the quality of pitching that he had been providing the last 2 years. Totally understand that. But, expecting him to be a part of the rotation, what would you have been happy with? A sub-5 ERA? That's probably where my expectations were. So the fact that we are getting this from Miles Mikolas right now shows the consistency, of this rotation from 1 through 5 that you are getting. There isn't truly not a night of the week where you're sending a guy out there and saying, feels like our offense is going to have to carry us tonight. That is not the case whatsoever. And that is a good You know that when you have that, you have a good brand of baseball that you're relying on.
Yeah, and I think that the general, conversation prior to the year was, hey, you know what, Miles Mikolas' contract is going to put him in the rotation to start, but by June or July, we're going to have a tough conversation with him about, is he a bullpen guy or is he a DFA guy type of deal? And right now, you're looking at Miles Mikolas, and you're saying,
right now he's a neither. Right now, he's a neither kind of guy. He's a starter right now. I
can't wait to see that next start out of him. And I mean, this is just this is where I'm saying, like, this team's for real. This team is. It's time to stop. I saw a few other outlets, a few other national media outlets, not giving the Cardinals their due, even after the 9-game winning streak had wrapped up, saying, I don't think, whatever, it's just a fluke. It's, it was the Nationals that they swept. This isn't, this isn't that big of a deal. It's the Pirates, it's the Nationals, whatever. But when you look at it, I think as we were kind of looking at the way this all started and the way this kind of hot streak got going at the very end of April, it was, okay, hey, that's a great time, one time through the rotation. Hey, that's 2 times through the rotation. That's awesome. Like, hey, we'd love to see, 2 times through the rotation numbers like that. Now we're going on what, 4th time through the rotation, where the starters just keep putting up solid numbers after solid numbers. And it's, guys like I've been at it. I think on the Hub, I am the biggest Michael McGreevy fan on the Hub. I will wear that proudly. And I have sat there, and many times in spring training and the start of the year, I looked for who could he replace. It's, put Palante in the bullpen, or Livator in the bullpen. Right now, absolutely not. I'm hoping for rain out double headers where he can come in and be your 27th man. That's the role I'm hoping for Michael McGreevy right now, because everybody in this rotation is doing their job. I mean, you could look at it and go, Eric Fetty's the weak link. Eric Fetty is one of 3 guys in baseball this year that's thrown a complete game shutout that he did a week ago. It's just a new hero is emerging every night now.
Yeah, I mean, you said it right there. I mean, the what the starting pitching is doing right now is causing you to not feel like you have to, you're just waiting for the day that they're going to call up that McGreevy, call up that Graceffo, call up that Quinn Matthews eventually. It doesn't feel like that.
Well, Graceffo's a part of this winning team.
Right,
they found that role for Graceffo, and I think Graceffo is that, hey, you're our B team late inning guy when Helsley isn't available. Hey, you're in there now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, those guys feel kind of like almost, for lack of better words, afterthoughts right now, in the sense of that they're not on the forefront of the mind, which is a good thing, right? I mean, like, more time in the minors is not going to hurt Michael McGreevy. It's not going to hurt him, I promise. So, there's a lot to be excited about right now with this club. The way that they are playing is a style that people can get behind, and tonight was a great example of that. Miles Mikolas has been excellent. Kyle Leahy. I love that the one night that Kyle Leahy perhaps doesn't have the best stuff, right? I mean, and let me just say this too. I mean, the 7th inning was clean. The 8th inning, he allows the base hit through the right side, and then a little dribbler infield single. So, and then a couple of hard hit balls. So you could say that the 8th inning wasn't necessarily his best stuff, but the one time that he needs it, the defense backs him. Like, he really needs it. The defense backs him, which it just fires me up. Super encouraging. Ryan Helsley was very good in the 9th inning against 3-4-5, be it in that Royals lineup, which is a solid 3-4-5. The bullpen has been very good, but the bullpen has been good because the starting rotation is setting them up for success. You don't feel like you don't feel like the rotation is piggybacking on the backs of this starting rotation right now, and that is a recipe for success, Mr. Roderick.
How are you watching standings yet? Are you watching the standings?
Absolutely not. No shot. No shot. Zero. I'm not going to be watching the standings probably until July 1st. July 1st at the earliest. No shot. I can't stand when people are talking about the standings. on May 17th. Unbelievable.
All right, well, my sick ass just went and looked at what the score of the Giants
You're a sicko. You're a sicko, Joe.
What the score of the Giants game is, because with the Giants lost tonight, the Cardinals are one of the 3 wild card teams.
We have school just got out. We have a long summer, man.
My kid has to go all week. He's still not out of school yet.
Way too long of a summer to be already doing this. I can't.
And we have somebody in the chat saying they're keeping an eye on the Brewers. Now, screw the Brewers. I mean, Cardinals right now.
People are all sick.
Cardinals right now. I mean, the Brewers are sitting 4.5 games back of the Cardinals right now. Forget the Brewers. I am 100%. I am eyeing. It's all eyes right now on the National League East and National League West to see who we got to jump to get to that wild card while we still chase down the Cubs.
Joe, this comment from Austin that says standing watching starts the day after spring training ends makes me sick. It makes me want to hurl.
People are asking. People want to know what the standings look like right now. Half game back of the Giants for the 3rd wild card spot. Giants and Athletics playing each other right now. They are also, it says here, a game and a half back of the Phillies at the moment. We're talking about almost catch. I mean, we're up there. We're 2.5 games back of the Padres right now in the wild card.
Oh, it's telling as to how and the one little, okay, I'll give this to you that I have in this situation, right, is it gives you rather than just specifically looking at the Central, it gives you an idea, at least on paper, of how the Cardinals pair up against teams in other divisions like the Padres that were expected to be a top 7 team in baseball this year. That's the only thing that I'll give to the standings watchers out there. But yeah, I mean, it's telling as to how this club is playing that all of a sudden, and part of it's the excitement of like, oh man, now we're like actually in the mix. Like, oh, hey, come on now. So I get it, but at the same time, you all are sick. We got a long summer ahead of us. And a
real sick person would sit here and spew off notes like, if the Cardinals were an American League team, they'd have a 1-game lead at the top of the wild card standings right now. That's how good they're playing because the Guardians and the Twins are at 25-20. Cardinals have 26 wins on the season. So a sick person would have that. No, absolutely, Samuel. This is where I draw the line on any of that.
Oh my God!
I do not know what the Cardinals' magic number is. I do not know that. I can't help you out with any of that. I'm sure we could find it if we dug deep enough. I do not know what the magic number is. I
got something for you here. Let's see. Where was this comment at? Someone threw a comment up about where this all started to change, and now, son of a gun, I can't find it.
I know what you're talking about. Are you talking about the Ryan Fernandez comment?
Yes, this run here, it is from C. Ramirez. This run also started once Ryan Fernandez was sent back down to the minors, and our friend Bernie Mikolas tweeted about this earlier and said, since the bullpen changes went into place on April 25th, this was the day that Fernandez was sent down, the Cardinals have the NL's best reliever ERA, 2.32, are number 1 in bullpen win probability added, and have a 15-5 record, which is first in the National League and second overall. I hope that Ryan Fernandez gets to a place to where sooner than later he's back able to be contributing to this bullpen, because he only makes it better when he is at his best. We saw that last year; he was exceptional. But it is telling, right? And I think it shows how deep, at least this Cardinals bullpen squad is. As far there's still a couple of guys that you could say are potentially eventually going to be up here. You still have Munoz down there and Anderson, and hopefully Fernandez gets to that point. It's pretty telling about the Cardinals bullpen and the recognition that things needed to change, but also that they could rely on guys down there to make a change. And since then, they've constantly been going back and forth with several different guys, and they've made it work. And kudos to the organization, to Mosa, and to Marmol for making it work. It hasn't been. I know that the starting rotation has helped them a lot in these last however many games, but a lot of it has also been managing the bullpen stress and managing the exhaustion, the fatigue, because they have played several doubleheaders in there. So I think that is also a very important thing to mention too, that a lot of this success started going the Cardinals' way, or I should say started happening for the Cardinals when they started making some moves regarding the bullpen.
All content on Sports Hub STL brought to you by DraftKings. The crown is yours. And that DraftKings Pick 6 app. Hopefully tonight you didn't go with a lot of Cardinal offensive players to have some good numbers, because only 2 hits on the night for that. But tomorrow's a brand new day, and you can look at some of the numbers in that pitching matchup between Michael Wacha and Matthew Liberatore and see what you like, not only in the Cardinal game, but all of Major League Baseball and also the NBA and in the NHL. You can go to the DraftKings Pick 6 app and choose your players, 2 or more, and pick more or less of a certain stat. And for new members, you can download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code STL Sports. That's code STL Sports for new customers to play $5. Get $50 in Pick 6 credits, better payouts, bigger wins, only with Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Somebody throwing out there, how's City doing? I know second half has started. When that game ends, Matt Rocchio Will Britton will be on with the City Hub post-match show. They haven't changed it on the graphic yet, but that's what I call it, the City Hub post-match show. For that. Nice day of St. Louis sports already with the Battlehawks win, and now the Cardinals 1-0 victory. So hopefully City can pull something off that they haven't been doing a whole lot of this season. I like this from Brian Quinn as we sit here and we talk about the credit that we've been giving Miles Mikolas for exceeding expectations. Earlier today, Brandon Hyde, the manager of the Baltimore Orioles, was fired because it's his fault that the front office didn't re-sign Corbin Burns after trading for him last year. That goes along with Derek Shelton and Bud Black. 3 managers fired in Major League Baseball before Memorial Day this season. And if you would have talked to a Cardinal fan at the beginning of the year, Ollie's name would have been at the very, very top of that hot seat. And you have seen Ollie just had shut up all of his critics with this recent run the past 2 weeks.
This is, Joe, this is what I want to see more of from Jonathan. Ollie Marmol, I owe you an apology. That's what I want to see more of. Actually, I saw a tweet today on Twitter, of course. It was a poll asking, were you always bought in on Ollie, basically, is what he was saying. It was, and 47% of at that point, there was like 600 votes. 47% of them said that they were always in on Ollie, and they still are. And I laughed out loud because it is so not true. This fan base was calling for Ollie Marmol's head. The only way in the final season of John Mozeliak's tenure with the St. Louis Cardinals, if Ollie Marmol was going to get fired, the only way is if all of these players had magically switched and went from loving Ollie Marmol to hating Ollie Marmol, and the results on the field from the young guys, from Walker, from Gorman, we know they're already struggling, but then on top of that, from Ivan Herrera, from Mason Wynn, from Brendan Donovan, from Victor Scott, from Lars Nootbaar, if all of them were pitiful, that is the only way that it would have even been considered that Ollie Marmol would have been gone at any point this season, because the expectation was never there for this team in the first place. So it's pretty telling, not just from Marmol, but from the coaching staff as a whole and the work that they're doing, but also from the players.
Yeah.
The work that they're doing to have this team ready day in and day out and show them what good preparation looks like The work that John Jay is doing defensively with these guys cannot be understated, but also that Brant Brown has come in doing and the approach with a lot of these different players. I'm just saying it. I hope that we keep. I appreciate Mason.
Throw Dusty. You got to throw Dusty Blake's name in there too, because
Dusty Blake.
Because if we're talking, because everybody, the offensive side of things, we want to give Brant Brown, his due, especially after what the Cardinals have gone through offensively the last few years. Dusty Blake has done an outstanding job too this year with this pitching staff, so he gets a lot of that credit as well. The comment up there too that if Marmol gets an apology, Mozeliak gets one too, because he put this roster together. He went out and spent a grand total of $2 million this offseason on free agents. And you're seeing the play on the field. And he sat there and he said, hey, we're giving these young kids a chance to show what they can do. And we're seeing what those young kids can do. And we saw that tonight with Jordan Walker's home run. And as we talked about it, Ivan Herrera, Mason Wynn, Victor Scott, those three guys up the middle are your future of this team.
You said it right there. I would give Marmol more love than Mozeliak, and the reason being is that I don't even think that Mozeliak expected this from this club, right? The idea was right. They're going to give these young guys the runway, and I think they kind of had an idea of what to expect in 2025. I can't imagine they thought that they would be in this place, but I could be wrong. Pushing Daisy saying here, do you think since we're doing so well with the squad we have, do we see Sajacy coming back for, let's say, Gorman? LOL, just thinking out loud.
I don't think Gorman,
I would be very surprised. The reason being is that what is some at-bats in the minor leagues going to do for Nolan Gorman? There is absolutely nothing that time in the minor leagues is going to do for him. It is a learn to swim or sink season, it feels like, for Nolan Gorman. And that doesn't happen in the minor leagues. That happens at the major league level. So I don't know if I see a purpose behind I would be very surprised if I see this happening for Gorman. Perhaps for a Barrero, maybe. But even then, Barrero's not playing at all right now. And they want Sajacy playing. They've made that clear. So I would be surprised if we see Thomas Sajacy come up, which I don't actually agree with the way that they're going about Thomas Sajacy personally, but I understand why they're going about it the way that they are.
That I would say, as I look at the roster right now, my idea with bringing up a Sajacy would be for Pozo when you determine that Ivan Herrera is ready to go back to being a catcher more often, unless if he keeps hitting his DH and you just say, hey, okay, you're our DH, forget about bringing the gear, you're just DHing now. If that's what we're looking at as far as the roster, okay, I could see though, okay, hey, Pozo, we're going to send you back down. Herrera's going to catch a little bit. He and Pages, we don't need three catchers if Herrera's catching regularly, so let's put Sajacy in there and then move a few other things around. And maybe play him at second, maybe give Wynn a day off at short, maybe DH, somebody along in there too with that. If you have a string of lefties coming up that you're going to be facing too on the opposing starting pitchers.
Yeah. I mean, the Herrera topic is an interesting one because we know, that you could argue that was a big part of the runway matched with Gorman and Walker and having them figured out in 2025 at the plate. Can Herrera learn, become a league average defensive catcher? And, if the Cardinals keep winning, then if you're asking the questions about Gorman and Walker, then you should be asking the question, at least asking the question about Herrera catching as well. I think they will get back to him catching eventually. But that doesn't change that Thomas Sajacy's role, the reason that they sent him down was that they wanted him to be getting consistent playing time. And I don't know if I would say Pozo's getting super consistent playing time. I mean, he's still getting some ABs, but the more that Herrera transitions back into catching, the less that Pozo's going to be playing. Barrero's not playing at all right now. So, the Cardinals are going to have to change their mindset around Thomas Sajacy if they want him to be up with this club, because he's not going to get consistent at bats. He's just not. He's going to be an off the bench pinch hitter type guy in situations where you're platooning and you maybe have a lefty heavy lineup and you want to mix it, or sorry, a righty heavy lineup and you want to mix it up late in the game against the lefty or something like that.
This comment from Space, I would love to know how old Space is that wrote this comment, because this is a very old school, I feel like, Cardinal fan mentality of not realizing the DH is here. You can use it and you don't have to just rotate guys in and out. You can have a guy that's just going to be a masher at DH and just let him sit there and DH all season long. It's okay to have that. It's another position in your lineup. It's okay if in a healthy season that Ivan Herrera is your DH 85% of the games.
The problem is that the Cardinals can't afford for that right now because they have like 3 or 4 guys that you could argue could be that. So That's why you can't have that right now. But if the team was set up, constructed a little bit differently, or maybe, next season, a couple of years down the road, maybe you can be having that conversation. The only other position that I could see a position transition for Ivan Herrera would be first base, where you will never
got a guy there for 3 this year and 2 more. So
you do. And that is I'm saying more so from a, where do you see catchers go to if they don't catch anymore? It tends to be first base. I would be shocked if there at any point was a transition defensively if it was anywhere besides first base.
Yeah, and that's sure. And this to piggyback off this comment from Samuel, DH is for old guys, and then Mace chiming in, have the Dodgers moved Shohei Ohtani to third yet? Yeah, Shohei's only 30. He DHs every single game. He is out there to DH every single game. They're not moving him anywhere else. I don't know about Ivan Herrera's pitching, but again, if you can hit, just go hit. I don't care. I don't need you to go down to drive line and learn how to throw guys out. Just hit the ball. Just hit the ball, hit it hard, hit it far, and be that masher in the middle of the lineup. That's what I'm paying to go down there and see him do.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. You just got to figure out what you're going to do with Nolan Gorman and Alec Burleson and all these other guys. If Ivan Herrera's out playing them, sure, but then what are you going to do with those guys? So, someone mentioned in the chat that could Sajaci be a trade chip? Yes, I think Thomas Sajaci would be a very wise trade chip. I don't know if it's at this point or if they'd rather him get a little bit more MLB experience to kind of sweeten that up a little bit. I'm not sure. But, if Ivan Herrera proves that he can't catch and if he proves he can't catch and he's going to be your everyday DH, then eventually you kind of know that there's nowhere to play for Alec Burleson. There's nowhere to play for Nolan Gorman. That's a little bit down the road still, right? That's probably more of a 2026 conversation. But that's something that could potentially eventually be happening.
Scoreboard watching as we look at the standings in Major League Baseball. The Giants and Athletics still tied at 0 in the bottom of the 4th. That's going to wrap up our show for today. We'll get you ready for Matthew Libator and Michael Waka going at it tomorrow morning on Cards Hub 365, and then be right back at it for the postgame show when the final out is recorded in that one. Hopefully talking about another Cardinals sweep here on Sports Hub STL. All of our content here on Sports Hub STL brought to you each and every day by the folks over at DraftKings. The crown is yours. And all of our postgame shows brought to you by Hot Shots, home of St. Louis sports fans since 1990. Find yours at hotshotsnet.com. City postgame show coming up whenever that one ends. Matthew Rocchio, Will Britton will be your host for that. So make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube page so you know whenever we go live for any of our shows here on Sports Hub STL. For Ethan Hannaford, I'm Joe Roderick. We'll talk to you tomorrow here on Cards Hub.